When we come back, we're going to talk about families and how they can be good for business as well. We're going to find out why businesses should invest in having family-friendly features.
Good Friday morning. You're watching Primetime Morning with me, Otelli Edwards.
And Stephen Chow.
That's right. No.
Sorry, just kidding about that. And I think, did you say Friday morning? It's a Monday morning.
Oh, it's Monday morning.
You're hoping. You're living way ahead. They're not there yet.
I'm looking into the... Oh,
okay.
yeah, excuse me. Monday morning.
Okay.
Sorry, excuse me there. All right. Now, Stephen, you are a father of 2 kids, right?
Last I checked, yes.
Yeah. Last night you checked, right? Now, do you always have this problem, like, you know, when you go to a shopping mall and then say, you know, you have your babies in tow and you need to do a bit of diaper changing and then you go to the restroom but there aren't exactly facilities there.
Yeah, so many times I've been to it. Or I see a sign and it says, yeah, there's a baby changing area. I walk over, it's only in the women's toilet. It's not, the table's only in the women's toilet. So it does get to me, yes.
Yeah, a bit of gender bias, maybe like the women should still be the ones who are changing the nappies.
Yes.
All right, maybe, but you know what, a lot of people don't understand this, but families actually do spend a lot of, you know, money on their kids and on the family. And a study, in fact, by the Singapore's Ministry of Community Development, Youth and Sports showed that young parents spend an average, check this out, $1 billion on grocery shopping, $625 million on non-grocery shopping, and about $1.5 billion on food and beverages annually, you know, and that's just in Singapore alone.
Yeah, it's totally believable. I can see how that adds up. So why aren't more businesses family-friendly, and what can be done to address this issue? This morning we have with us Mildred Tan, co-chair of the Businesses for Family Council, and Lau Chuen Wei, executive director for Singapore Retailers Association. Good morning, ladies. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Mildred, let me start off by asking you, we talk about family-friendly facility. Really, what are we talking about? It's not just a few baby-changing tables, right?
Oh, no, not at all. What we are now trying to promote is for businesses to have a strategy in itself to promote a family-friendly environment in their businesses. The other one is infrastructure. You know, exactly what you've just talked about, whether it's nappy changing and for elderly, even in the toilets, you know, they have, if you have just one way, if you're in a wheelchair, it goes only one way, you actually need to have the doors be able to swing both ways, for example. So there are things like that. We even talked about, we called it, initially we discovered this thing on benches and stuff like that, and we called it the patient father's chair when you go shopping. And things like that. It's infrastructure. And finally, most importantly, is the service. Whether the service staff understands how to manage and work with families, be it with the elderly, be it with the young.
Like, you know, we were mentioning like billions of dollars, you know, families, that's how much they spend. So, Chuen Wei, why isn't it that all malls you would consider would make it more, you know, family friendly, you know, for you know, in cases like with Stephen, you know, being a father, and, you know, why wouldn't they?
I think one of the first thoughts that come to mind with all these operators is the issue of cost. They think that it's very expensive to try to put these things together. If you're talking about infrastructure, they think, oh, I've got to build this, I've got to build that. You know, I was just going to make an extension to that question. You're just talking about nappy changing. Yeah, you have nappy changing rooms. But what if, as a father, you have a young daughter? What if your wife is not with you and one of you needs to use the toilet? Which toilet do you go to?
You know what I do now? I walk into the handicapped toilet. I have no choice because there's nowhere else that you have to go.
But you know, now there's also a criticism about people using the handicapped toilet when so it's a tough one. So what is to say that a mall cannot, for instance, come up with a family room that anybody can use, or a senior citizens lounge, for instance, if you go out with elderly parents, where do we park them while we want to go grocery shopping? But yes, a lot of money is spent on these things. People think that cost is an issue, but there's a lot of other things that can be done to overcome this without implementing without using a lot of money.
Well, perhaps you can give us some examples, because many of them who have older buildings will say, yes, cost is the main issue to sort of to renovate, to change the layout and things like that. I mean, you mentioned there's some other options?
As Mildred was saying, let's say within a retailer's shop, and it doesn't have to be your primary customer. Let's say a retailer sells apparel that fits a career woman. Now, if this woman walks in with her young child and she wants to try on clothes, what am I going to do with my child? So if let's say the retailer thinks, oh, it's not that difficult for me to put a small table there and have crayons and paper, or maybe have, some of these handheld games that the child can be entertained while the mother is busy inside trying on the clothes. And the more time a customer can spend inside your store, feeling comfortable that whoever else they're going with is well taken care of, the more likelihood the money that is spent is going to be higher. So it's training, small items and training of staff. Does the staff take the initiative to say that, oh, you want to try on your clothes? Can I help you keep an eye on your child while you go in? Such things doesn't incur a lot of money in terms of space and so on.
And in terms of initiatives, what's being done to sort of like push businesses to be more family friendly?
Well, we started right at the beginning by introducing something called the pledge. In other words, just a commitment to say that I am inviting for families to come in, and I welcome the family dollar to my business. We've then since introduced what we call a marker. So a marker means that you've actually gone through an audit of sorts to say that you've actually got a strategy, you put in infrastructure, and the service staff actually is trained towards being pro-family. So that's the second one that we've actually put in. The next initiative that's upcoming is what we call the Family Friendly Awards, Business Awards, and that's coming up soon.
Okay, so recognizing businesses who do sort of cater to the family. And I guess from a retail point of view, Chuen Wei, if you can tell us, I mean, there are returns to this. It's just that some will say it's too far down the road. I need my cash flow. I need my short-term returns. I mean, what would you say to that?
I think it's a matter of awareness. I think a lot of people are so concerned about their primary customer. And they may not be aware that, if I look after some of the peripherals, that's not a very good word, but
called the children peripherals. Yeah, sometimes we refer to them as that.
If we look after peripherals, my primary customer is likely to spend more time with me and to come back to me again. You said so yourself, and we all speak as consumers too, that we look for places that we can feel comfortable with. Comfortable in things that look after our needs, whether it is bringing small children with us, whether it is bringing elderly parents, or what. We sit and think where we would like to go. If you would like to go to a restaurant, now do I have to navigate steps in order to get into this restaurant? If I have, somebody with me who's wheelchair bound, you think about all these sort of things. So I think businesses, whether they are shopping centers, whether they are restaurants, whether they are retailers, and so on, if they can be a little bit more conscious that families are spending more time together, it is not just me going out on my own. All this focus and attention on spending time with your family makes a lot of difference. And they have to shift their mindset. They have to shift their thinking that it's not just my primary customer that I'm thinking
It's a tough thing because it's a whole new game. Until you've had a family, you don't realize a lot of these things. And you're a young retailer,
At the end of the day, it does increase the revenue and bottom line. That's the point.
It is the bottom line.
It is.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time. I'm sure this is a topic that I know we could all go on, especially not you, Telly. You're not there yet, So, but one day,
But we all get there.
It's true. It's true.
All right. Thank you, Mildred and Chuen Wei. Mildred Tan, co-chair of the Business for Family Council, and Lau Chuen Wei, Executive Director, Singapore Retailers Association. Just telling us how, businesses can look towards being a bit more family friendly.
Yeah, that's right. And think about it, even if businesses were to spend a bit of money, to put, it's a good investment because then they'll be attracting, families and billions of dollars
That's right.
involved. Yeah.